be looking at scripting, okay? And when we talk about scripting, what you are understanding concerning scripting? Yeah, when somebody says scripting, scripts in general, let's talk about programming. When somebody don't forget about programming, scripting. What do you understand? Hello. Yeah, Nana, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can.
Yeah. I'm asking you scripting, understanding of scripting, not relating to programming. Let's say normal scripting.
Okay. So, please, what me where I know of like scripting in, for example, movies where basically somebody will write out the parts the actors are going to act out. Hello. That's what I know about scripting. But like I've also heard of scripting as in games, but that one it has to do with like when you're creating mods for games. They have something called, so that one is related to programming, but I don't know what it is exactly.
Okay. So that is fine. So now, what I want us to scripting simply means that maybe you may have the program. Okay, so you want to control the behavior of a program. Okay,
Yeah.
in application. So you write a script to do that. It's the same way maybe you are talking about movie. You use a script to control the behavior of the actor to behave in a certain way. So based on the script, the actor is going to act in that what manner. So if your script is that the actor to be a mad person, the actor will behave like a mad person, even though he's not mad, but it's based on the script. Okay. So when it comes to the body, it's also the same. Okay. So you have other utilities like system files when it comes to computing, with operating system. Okay. So the operating system has been programmed to perform in a certain way. Okay. Let's take like example of operating system that you might know. Can you give me example?
Windows,
Any
Mac OS.
Mac OS and stuff. So when you pick Windows, Windows operating system has been programmed to behave in a certain way. So as a developer, you are going to write a script to control the behavior of of the operating system. So within the operating system, you see that we have utility programs, okay, which are there. We have the memory, okay, which are there. We have the processor, which are also there, okay. So you are going to write a program to be able to control that, okay, so that the operating system will be able to adapt to your program and perform in that way. Okay, so now when you write your program, you realize that the operating system was not programmed maybe to sync, okay, but you can write a program to now force the operating system to sync by using your application. Okay, so you as an engineer, maybe you can program the operating system maybe to calculate certain figures based on your input that you give. Ordinary operating system wasn't programmed in that way, but based on your script, what you give, that's how the operating system is going to behave. Okay, so now with these sessions, we are going to really go in details to really understand the utility programs that the operating system have. Okay, so that we can now program on top of it. Okay, to force the operating system to behave in a manner in which we want. Okay, so for instance, you may have a file maybe to print, so you can have a program where it will be able to force the operating system maybe to print maybe 1,000 files. It's going to print the 1,000 files. Ordinary, it hasn't been programmed to print 1,000 files, but based on your program, it's going to do that on your behalf. Okay, so that when we talk about scripting, so scripts is going to be your code that you will write. Okay, so my code is my script. Okay, so what you program is your script. So you write a script. So that is your code, that your idea that you want the computer to use. So that is your script. So it's the same thing to movie. Somebody's idea that you want the actor to use. So that is the script. So you need to read and go through that. Now we move on. There we look at the system specific issues. So now I have operating system, but you realize that every operating system, they have a way that they behave. For instance, Mac OS, Linux OS, that is UNIX and all those, they have a way that they behave on the same way to Windows. So they might not perform the same way, okay, because Windows and then Mac OS and Linux are not the same, but mostly you may get Windows and Mac OS and the Linux to move in a certain way, okay, because they are all open in the UNIX environment. Okay, so they all behave in that way. But when it comes to Windows have a way in which it behaves. Okay, so we are going to go into details and look at how we will be able to adapt to the utility, the operating system utility in the environment in which we are using. So for now, if you are using Mac, but for as we started, I know that most of the machine that we are using Windows. Okay, so I will move close to the Windows, but then you may also have opportunity to know some of the models that you can use for that. Okay, so now we look at, I'm not going to, I just have to explain to you. So let's look at accessing the operating system. Now, if you want to access the operating system, there are some models that we can use to access the operating system. Okay, so some of the models that you might consider are on the OS. We call the OS model. So this OS model here is called the operating. As you see, OS simply means operating system model. So that is going to allow us to interact with the operating system that we are actually using. Okay, and then the path is the direct is the sub model of the OS. Okay, so this is a sub file. So that you see here is means that you can within the OS you can get the path. Okay, and then the PWD, the globe, and the shuttles. Now, some of these ones are not relating to Windows. So PWD and stuff, we use them in Linux. Okay, so we will not focus on those ones because we are not using Linux machine. Okay, and then we have the sub processes and stuff. So these are some of the things that we can actually see. Okay, now to get more details of what we'll be doing, now let's look at OS module. So when you see the OS module simply means the operating system module. So for instance, if I want to get the path of maybe a directory or something, we have the extension of the OS like path. Okay, so we use the dot operator here to call different functions. Okay, so we use the dot operator here to call different functions. As you can see here, we have the dot operator here to be able to call the different functions that is relating to it. So now here we'll be looking at some information. So what are some of the information that we can get from this? Okay, so we're going to look like primarily we are going to look at managing access to what the computer hardware. Okay, so if you are going to program on top of a machine, you need to know how the operating system you are building on top behave and stuff. So now we know the hardware, and then we look at the CPU, we look at the memory, we look at the storage, and then we look at the networking. So these are the things that make computer a computer. Okay. So for instance, if maybe you want to buy a machine, what are some of the things that you might consider before you purchase a machine? What are some of the things? If right now you want to buy
A machine as in like a PC,
a PC,
like a
yeah.
computer.
Yeah.
I yeah, I'll look at the CPU,
Mm-hmm.
the like the RAM.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the two that I look at, the CPU and the RAM.
What about the hardware? You look at the hardware.
Yeah, like the hard. You said the hardware, like the
Yeah.
memory.
That is
Yeah,
hard
I
disk. I'm
also
talking about the hard.
hard disk. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I also look at
The
the
hard.
hard disk, the memory. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are some of the things because you need to actually know. So the CPU speed, so if you look at the speed, okay, and then the networking too is also the network card and stuff. You need to look at. You will be looking at it, okay, depending on what exactly you want to use. Okay, so these are the tasks. So these are the okay. So you can mute your listening. Okay, so these are the tasks that we'll be looking at. Okay, so we are saying that now when it comes to the OS model function provide insight and control over these OS activities. So we will look at some of the common one, like maybe collecting the user and the system information. How do we do that? We will look at managing processes. Okay, we will look at managing processes. Okay, they will also look at determining file information and manipulating files and then navigating folders. These are some of the things that we will be actually looking at. Okay, now this content that you have, most of the stuff here is doable both Linux and then the Mac OS and the Windows. So some code might not work for Windows. Okay, so when you try some of them, you might get error because it's not meant for that Windows platform if you are using Windows platform. So I'll pinpoint some of them to you, so in case that you face that, you know exactly what you are doing. Okay. Okay, so now let's look at how we can interact with some of these things. So we look at, maybe we want to get access to our user ID, login name, and all this stuff. Okay, so now we can now go to our interpreter. So when we check our interpreter, we can now import what? The OS module. Okay, so the OS module, as you can see here, this is the OS module. So if I do import OS, that will give me access to the OS module. Okay, so I'll come here and then I'll do import. Now when we do the import, we actually, for now, we know what to do. We understand what modules are. So now import the OS module. Okay, so oh, sorry. Okay, so we have to import the OS. Now the OS module. Now here I could use the help to check the OS. Now let's do our check and see some of the methods that we can see and the function that we can see in the OS. So now when we open this, you could see that here the OS module as we have here, you can see the OS module that we have here is having some kind of path. Okay, so now you can see that all functions from this has been listed down there. Okay, so now you can see that os.path. So os.path, what does it do? It give us the path or the directory where we are. Okay, then we have the os.name. You can see the os.name. Okay, then you can see here os.current directory. That goes to do with the current directory. Okay, so the current directory, the current deal with what? The current directory. Okay, so that's what it means. Okay, and then we have, so this is what? It's a string representing what? The current directory. And then always it's like this. You can just do the dot here to get the current directory. Okay, now we have here what call, this one is called, we want to check the parent directory. So the parent directory, if you want to move to the parent directory, you use the what? The dot. I hope you remember what we did the last time. Do you remember?
About the byte
Yeah, so
regarding the
now here, yes. For instance, if I'm here, let's see, I just open a new directory and then I want to move through my directory. I'm here. You know, my directory, I'm inside what? My username, which is what? Ken. Okay. So for instance, if I want to move to the desktop, I could see cd desktop. Okay, so now cd desktop, I've moved from there. So if now I want to move back to my parent directory. My parent directory is what? Which one is my parent directory? From the desktop, my parent directory will be the username, which is Ken, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now we use, if I want to move, we use the dot dot like this. So meaning that I want to go back. So now you can see that it will move me back. Sorry, I forgot to bring the C. So I need to use CD, then dot dot. Okay, so this will take you back. That is what we have there. Okay, so now we are seeing that here you can see that we said that parent directory, that part there, that's what it means. And then we are seeing that it's a string representing the parent directory, and always you use the dot dot, okay, just to be able to take you there. And then we have the os.step, simply means that the path separator. So that's your path name separator. So it could either be this, the the two backslash, or as you have here, or the forward slash, or the two backslash as you have here. So that either you use this or go by this. Okay, so that is the path name separator. So either you use the forward slash one or the two backslash. That is that. And then we have the os dot extension separator. So if I have extension separator, we use the dot. So now you know that if I want to get the extension of the path, so for instance, you can see the os.path. So that is going to give us the path. So you realize that if you come here, oh sorry, let's still maintain. So if I come here and I say import os dot path, okay, in that case, that is the extension. So we use the dots. So that is, you are calling for the extension of, it means that path is inside os. So that is what we use. So anytime you call, like you created your own class, you created the object, and you use the dot operator, that extension, to call the different modules within that. So that is the idea. So here you have dot, see me the extension what separator. So that is going to bring that. And then we have alternate path separator. So the alternate path separator, you use the this, which is what the forward slash. Okay, so now you can see here we have this. So this is the model for that. Okay, so now you can see all this one. This is the method for the os dot base. Okay, so we have all these ones here. You can see the line separator, which is used by this new line. I hope you know the new line. Remember the new line. Okay, from our previous class. So the backslash n mean the new line, or this, or this. Okay, so all this one mean, but I think this is more common. The new line, this is more common, which you've been using. So this is the line separator. So that is going to separate your line. Okay. And then the we have what we call the search path for executable. So we use this. And then we have what we call non-device. So if something is non-device, this is what actually you see there. Okay, so with these programs, just give you these export extensions and stuff. So you'll be seeing some of these things already. We are using some of them. So you already know what this one simply means. So now if we want to manipulate the path like the way you see here, we can do open directory, open there, and then you see the split, the join, we'll be using them. So for now you already know. So maybe your path you want to split, or you want to join or something. So this is an example that can go into your path. So where the path, then you can look at maybe split or join. You already know split, what split that. You already know join, what join do. So split can split a string into what? A list. I hope you remember it. And the join means that you can also join different let's say string. You can join them into one sentence. So these are some of the things that you need to know from our previous class, what we've done so far. Also, when you check here, you can see that we have a built-in classes that are there that we can take a look. So some of them I will skip them because so I only concentrate on where maybe I want us to focus on. So just look at some of the classes that you can see here. Okay, so these are all different classes. You can see the path. So you can see here, example here, the path. So maybe if I want to get a path means that who has the path dot join. So now you want to join. So now you can see that the path, then the directory name and stuff. So this is how you can go about that. Okay. So we can see for all these ones here, these are all built-in subclasses. Okay, all the built-in subclasses that you can see from there. Okay, some of them, I will skip some of them where I want you'll be using, I will take time and then talk about that. Okay, so all these ones are methods. So you can see here. You can see here. So you can see get ID. So what are you doing? So os.get ID is going to get your ID for you. Okay, so you get a get ID. That is for Windows, the owner. So all these are all the mode, the time, and all this stuff. So these are different methods. So now you can see here the user ID information. So now this is going to get you the IDs of your file. So this access to be able to access a file. So you look at the path and all those ones that you can access. Okay, as the path you've already seen, we've talked about them already. So this is the path. Then you can see that in directory. So when you see this one, see there, which means the current working directory, specify path. So now here is going to give you the current working directory. So that is going to, and then we have the ch mode, which is also to change the access permission. So this the change access permission, that's the ch mode, which we will look at it. So just need to know that these are all there. So you can see talk about the path. You can see the path is there. You can see here all those information. These are some of the parameters that are in there. Okay, so we look at this, you look at this as you can see here, and then access file. So then we have the close. We saw the close. So when you open a file and you need to close the file, so you can see here the close method is there. So once you open a file, you need to use the file name to close. Okay, to close the file. So if it doesn't close the file, it's going to use the system resources. So always you need to close the file when you open the file. Okay, and all these ones are coming from there. Okay, so now we have here executable file. Okay, so use this command for executable file. So when we see here method for executable file, and then we have the executable file with a search path. Okay, so some of them will be looking at them. You can see all these ones are there. So you can see executable file with the argument. So now you can see the argument, the environment replacing the current processes, as you can see. So some are them, you might look at them here. So there are lots that we could check them. For now, I think then the login, you see here, we have the login. So now you can get working directory. So this is return a Unicode string representing the current working directory. So if I want to get the current working directory, we use this function. So these are functions. So as you can see here, they come with close this. These are functions. So get current working directory. Then we can also get this function byte. So it's a byte representing the current working directory. So now as you can see, this is byte, the P. Okay, so we are going to read everything that will return will be in bytes. Okay, so you can then get login. So for instance, if I want to get my login from the user, you could use this method, get login. So if we have the login here, get login is going to get us that information. Okay, and then get ID. So get PI ID is going to get us what the PI ID, that is the current processing ID. So your current processing ID, if you want to get that, you will be able to get. Okay, so these ones will still be using some of them. So when you check here, you can see your OS, and you can see your OS dot what get what login. So get login is going to get our login. So if right now I just come here and say the OS dot login, okay, so OS dot login is going to get me the login, OS dot login. So that is going to get you the login. And then you can see that OS dot what get the PI ID. So that is also going to give you the ID of whatever that you are using. Okay, so if I come here, you will see that most of the things here, everything is in OS. So to get the understanding of it, so now if I want to get the PID, that is my current ID that I'm using. Okay, like the current processes, what is going on, the ID that is related to that. So if I want to get that, okay, that is going to be from here. So that will be my OS. So use the dot to get the extension. So now you can see this is the ID, So you see that if I go to your processes in your machine, check your processes, you see if I check my task manager, there are a lot of processes that is going on. But this one is going to get your current one. The current one that you have there is going to get. So if you see here, there are a lot of them that are going on here, a lot of processes is running here. You see that by the ID, every processes that goes on here. So you see here, these are the apps that I've opened that I'm using. So everyone is going to have it for the ID, the processes ID. So that's what I'm referring to. So in the same way, you could also get the login. So if I want to get the login, I'll just come here and get log in. So now you can see my login name. So that is my username, King. So that is the username that will pop up here. Okay. So all these utilities, the information here. So now we really want to understand the processes, what is going on here. You can kill the ID. You can see that kill PID. Now we already know PID. That is the process with the signal. So we can kill that one. You can see the links and all those ones here. Then this is my PPID. That is the parent processes ID. So that's going to get you. So if the parent processes has already exited, Windows machine will still return its ID. Okay. So these are some of the things that I think you needed to know. Okay. So we will still go into details, try to run a few programs here, understand some of these things, how to access some of these informations, and then you can just play around them. Okay, just play around some of them and get an understanding here. So if right now I come here and just what the PID, and then I link it to my OS dot that. So you could see here. So that's my parents' ID. Okay. So there are lots that we actually can explore from here. So list directory, that is also there. So that's going to link to your parent. Then you can see a list directory. So list containing the names of the files in the directory. So that is going to give you all these ones. Okay. So these are functions that I think you needed to know. And make directory. I think you saw this one, right? Did you try this on your own? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. I hope you've tried this, right? Make directory. Like to create a folder. Okay. To create a folder. I think when we started, we tried to create a folder on the desktop. Or we didn't. Did we do that?
No, I don't remember that happening. Maybe we did. I don't remember.
You don't remember. Okay. So this simply means that make directory where you can create a folder. Okay. So you can use the command. Maybe you want to use a command to create a folder, and then open file. I think open file we used it, right? So if I want
Yes,
to open a
please.
file, okay, so you can use this one to open a file, then the pipe. Okay, so all this we now want to interact with our operating system directly. So we use these um, models to be able to help us to actually do that, the OS model. So all this information got to link to the OS model. Okay, so if I come here and then for instance I want to even create a folder on my desktop. Okay, for us we already know how to use that. So now I could just say cd. Cd simply means that change directory or Windows. Then I could try this one, the where I want to go. So maybe desktop. Okay, desktop. So now I'm here. Well, I hit enter on my keyboard. Now it moved me to my desktop. Now you can do del. Del means that this one means that directory. So this only work on Windows. So this is directory. So this will list all your directories. So now you can see the directory. These are all the folders that I have on my desktop. Okay, and you can also use ls. So this ls work for Mac and then the Unix and stuff, Ubuntu and stuff. So but then you can also use the same thing on Windows because we are using the PowerShell. If you are not using the PowerShell and then you are using the command prompt like this one, we are using this one command prompt. That one ls will not work because when you try ls, the ls will Windows will tell you that that is not what recognized. So if I see ls, when I'm using command prompt, you can see that ls is not what recognized as internal or external command. But if I do like this, there like this, now here you will see that it will just pick everything. So now you can see that all the directories, so you created a di, that's the directory. So on my directory, you see all the files that I have there. Okay, so the same way, but when you come to this one, we are using the PowerShell. PowerShell has the flexibility where you sometimes some of the Linux and the Mac command sometimes work on that, not all, some of them. So now ls, if I do ls here, this is list. Now you see that it will list everything again. So but then it will not work on what command prompt. Okay, so in the same way it will still clear that. So that's the main reason why we are not using the command prompts on Windows, but we prefer to use the PowerShell because PowerShell allow the flexibility to use both Windows and staff command. So now I want us to create a folder on a desktop. So to create a folder, I talked about MK, which is MK make directory, like I show you MK make directory. So now you do make directory and then give your directory name like, let's say module2. Okay, so we can have extension like PMC, PMC underscore module2, so Python master class underscore module2. So when we create this one like this, hit enter. Now you can see that it just created the file. So if I go to my desktop, I will see the folder. That's the directory, and I can move through this directory. So to move through, I can do cd and what change directory, which is I'll move PMC underscore module. So what module are we talking about? That is our module2, what we just created. So now this will actually move me. So now you can see that I'm inside. So if I do ls, nothing comes because I've not created any file within that. So there's no content there. If I do there, which is directory, sorry, I make double, which is directory. So it tells you that there's nothing inside it. Okay, so this is how you can create a file. So now you can see here directory there. So to create a folder on your desktop. So if you do that, you go to our desktop right now. If you go to the desktop right now, if I check on desktop, If I check on my desktop, you can see the folder we just created will be there. And the name that we use was PMC module2. This is what we just created. And there's no content in there. Okay, you can see there's no content. So that is to make directory. So you can see here, make directory to create your own kind of folder. Okay, but we call it directory. Open the directory and then the path. So these are all the stuff that we could go through. We can also change the environment variable. Now you can see here, this is what for put env. This is for the environment variable, which we'll be looking at. Okay, so you can see here environment variable. When we started creating, we went through the environment variable and you saw some of them. We set the environment variable for our Python file. I hope you still remember them. Okay, so a lot need to go. So all these words come from the OS module. So we can also remove a file. So you can remove a directory by using the remove function. So put your directory name there. You can remove. You can read. We use the read line. So read file. So you can read the file and all those stuff. Okay. So these are some of the things that really I will be going through some of them to have. So now sometimes when you are installing a software, you install the software automatically creates what the directory where it's going, then you pick the folders and then install all the content within the folders. So now as you are programming, you need to do all those things within your package. So when you are done, you package everything. So as I'm installing, it's going to do all these things, but you need to understand all these things before you can package a software that you create your own files and stuff. So I think when we are done with this, that will give you a fair idea of how all these ones are done. Then you can know how you can also manipulate your stuff. Okay, so maybe on your free time, you can take your time and go through the OS module, like the content here. You can learn a lot from here. Just some of them here and then go through. So we deal with the data, we move with the data part and all those. So without wasting much time here, let's go straight to what we have here. So now here you see that these are examples that you get here. OS.get login, the OS.get user ID. Now with this one, it doesn't work on Windows. Okay, so all this content doesn't work on Windows, so we're going to go through that. But when you come here, I've already explained this to you, so I'm not going to go through here. As you can see, some might not work on Windows and all this. So I've done the explanation already here, so I don't need to talk about. Now you can see here, there's one thing that you need to look at here. Now here, this one doesn't work for some of the command doesn't work for Windows. Let's say for Macs, let's say Macs binary values and stuff, it doesn't work for Windows. And we look at how we use that. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So now, what that I'm saying that some of them, the Macs doesn't work. These are for Mac UNIX kind of stuff that you can use. Okay, Macs. Okay, so those ones are not. We are not going to look at them for now. Okay, because we are not using the UNIX machines and stuff. Okay, so now let's look at how you will be able to access some of these utilities on our machine. Okay, so now I really have some simple program that I want us to look at from this standpoint. So now we already understand what environment variables are, right? Do you all understand what environment variables are?
No, please.
Hello. Okay. So environment variables, when you are installing your programs, mostly that's where your files goes, and then it's the environment variable that you can use to be able to do your programming and stuff. Okay, so if for instance your environment variable is not set, and then maybe you want to interact with a certain content of your file, sometimes it might not work when you want to use the command prompt. So you needed to set the environment variable so that your software can communicate to the operating system. Okay, so if your environment variable is not set, so every software that you install, there's an environment variable where it goes so that it can interact with your operating system. So for now, let's see. Let's go to this. So now let's go to this PC. So if I'll right click here, I'll right click on this PC and then come to show more. Okay, so you see here properties. So when you write, it depends on the machine you are using, you see property. So just go to property. Okay, so now you click on your properties and it will open another directory for you. So here you could see something here. So here you can see that I'm inside my my property. So inside property, you will see that we have our advanced system settings. Now go to advanced system settings. Now you will see here environment variable. Have you seen that? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, so when you go to your environment variable, this is where when we're installing our Python, we went through. So you realize that we went and set up our environment. So now with this, our Python can interact with our operating system. So you see that the version of Python that I'm using, that is 3 point something 11. Okay, so you can see, and I have other versions there. This is what we did. Okay, so this is what we call the environment variable. So you can see a lot of softwares is having system variable here. This is the user variable. So this user variable got to do with the user. You can see a user variable for Kim. So these are all the user variables. And then we have system variable. So this one deal with the system itself. So when it comes to system variables, when you install your software, it goes directly. Okay, so you can see the software that you install on your machine. Each one is having a directory. Okay, so this is where your system will actually interact with. So I have a lot of system directory here. You can see them. So when you check yours, you see you also have the same. Okay, now you can see your username and all those stuff. Okay, so this is what we call the environment variable. So you can see the path. If I check my path here and come to edit, you can see that I have a lot of files here. So these are the programs that I've installed in my system here. You can see here I have the Git install, CMD and webcam and all those open shell. So these are all. So with this one now, this platform can interact with my operating system directly. Okay, so now I've set the system variables for that NVDI. So now it's the version that I'm using. So now with this one, this NVDI can work directly on my machine, okay, using the system board. environment variable. Okay, so that gives you the understanding of that. Okay, so in the same way that you also have the, I hope it's clear. So now checking the environment variable, these are what we actually need to do. So now here we import our OS, which we went through that. Okay, now we can print a list of all environment variable. So if I want to print a list of all environment, so you see that os.environment. So these are functions, the subdirectory, and then I want to get the item. Okay, so from here I can now pull individual for what I want to get. So you can see that if item here tells you that this one, what is coming as what? A dictionary. When you move to a dictionary, you realize you have the key and the value. So if I use like maybe environ dot key, and that is going to get me only the key. But now I want to get the key and the value. So I look at this one. So what is coming from here is coming as what? A dictionary. So now item contain both what? The key and the value. Okay. So now I will store the key here and the value here. If I decided not to bring this, it will come as a tuple. Okay, so that is what it means. So now here is going to pull all the user information. Then maybe I want to get the computer name. So os.get what? Environment computer name. Then our os.get environment what? User domain. So when you get there, you see here, then I can print computer name from the variable that I've stored. Then the user domain I can put because I've assigned them to a variable. Then I use the formatting string to print everything. So now if I run this code here, you could see that I'm able to pull all this information from my system. Okay, so you could see that I have, these are the first one that is coming from here. So you could see that here I have the key and the value from what we just printed. So now you can see here, I have the key and the value, and the value is my program file. So this is from environment. So you could see all the files that I've installed there. Okay, you could see there a lot of files that I've installed. Okay. Okay, and the last one, this one that I did, I want the computer name. So now you can see here the computer name. So my computer name is this. So if for instance you don't even know the computer, you can just try to get the computer. So my computer name is this. This is the name that I'm using for my computer. This is my computer name. So if I go to my properties where we did the setting, do you see my computer name? Do you see it there?
Yes, please.
So this is my computer name. So that is the device name. That is what you, so in the same way that we just put, sorry. Yeah, same way that we just pull from here. So now you can see here, this is my computer name. And then domain name, this is the domain name. Okay, so it's the same way that will come from my domain because I've not changed my domain, I'm still using the same thing. So that will come as the same as my what, the domain name, the user domain name. Okay, so this is how you will be able to interact with your system. So if you are running a, going to install a program and all those things, you need to have the understanding of these things and then how you can actually utilize all this information. Okay, so from this simple code, I'll still put it on the platform for you to be able to use it just to understand how some of these things work. Okay, now here, so I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's continue. So now, if for we want to use for the far manipulation, maybe we want to manipulate our far. So maybe we check our far, the directory manipulations and stuff. So now we know that for our path, we use the os.path and OS function to navigate or manipulate files and directory on Windows, which I've already explained some of them to you. So if I come down here and I say import OS, so when I import OS, what I do, you get the directory working directory. So if I want to get the current working directory, where I showed to you that we see what get current working directory. That is the function that we saw. So to get it is os dot what get current directory. So now here I assign it to the current directory here, and then I can just print this one out. So that is going to give me all those information down there. And then here is document directory. So maybe if you install a document, file. So now we know that os.path.join, okay, and we know that now we can say os.get what environment. So what environment? What do I want to get? I want to get the user profile, and then I want to get the document, okay, because when we install, we know that it goes to the document, and then I can print this one. So now I can print my file in the directory, which will give me the document directory, because that's where your document directory will come. When you pull all this information, it will go to your document directory. So now I can print that. Now, if I want to look through the document directory, so I can use the for loop to look. For now, we already know that we use for loop to what? To iterate. So anything that we can look through. So we can now look to print individual file. So to do that, I can say for file name in what? os.list directory. Now, so list directory is going to put everything in a list format. So now all the directory that is here, I'll place them in what? A list directory. So a list directory is just a function extension of what? OS. Then I'll place my document to. So now everything will come here so that I can look because of this list directory here. That is making me able to actually iterate through. So now I come as a list, and that list, you know that when it's a list, you can what? Iterate. So now to get individual what I'm having there. And then we can also create a new directory if you want to create a new directory. Now, if I say create a new directory, I believe you understand,
Yes,
right?
please. Yes.
Okay. You have to do os.path.join. So now whatever that we are going to create, we have to get the directory name. So document directory, like where we want the file to go. Okay. So that is document directory. We've already created this one already. So we want to add it to the document directory here. Then we give the file name, what the name that was. So we say Python script. So the Python script is the file, the directory name that we are creating. So now we can bring it to os.make directory. Okay, so this make directories, then you give the new directory wherever the file is going, okay, and then you can see what exit is true, okay. So this will create the file for us. So now when I create this one, you will see that the file that I just created will come, and then we can also delete the directory. Okay, I hope it's clear. So now whatever that we just created, we can delete it. So to delete it, we use the remove directory. So remove directory is going to remove the directory that we just created. Okay, so that it doesn't show there. So now this one will delete. So if I run this code here, you will see something here. So now it will pull all those information for us. So now you can see here my current working directory is what? The download folder. That is where my current working directory is. Then the file document directory, you can see the document. okay, and then all the content that are there, you could see that using the for loop, you could bring individual here. Okay, so now you can see that you just bring the video and all those files that I have there. You just show them down there. So you can see that all the files I have in my machine. You see here everything. You just do everything for me. And then the new one I created this one. Inside my document, I just created Python script and then I just deleted it. So that is not there anymore. Okay, so this is how we can utilize the utilities what we have there inside our machine using the simple Python code. And then we can also get the user information. So like the user information, like we saw that we know that os.get will get actually get the user information. So maybe my username, and I can put it in the formatting string and then be able to get that one printed out. So now here you see that get the environment. So now here is going to get my username, then you get environment user profile. That's what exactly I want. Okay, so now I can print all those ones there. Okay, and then you can also get paths to get the username alternatively. So you can use this one, and this is going to get it for us. Okay, so get path, get username, and so that is going to do the same thing for us. So if I run this code, as you can see here, now you can see here I have my login name, which is what Kim, and the username, which is Kim. Okay, and then the home directory, you can see that the home directory that is showing there, that is my directory. And then if you use the user via the path, you can see the Kim is also there. Okay, so that is be your username. Okay, so these are how you can import. So you can now write a directory code as we are doing, or you can use the shell to be able to go through that. And then another which I've already explained this one to you. Okay, so I think I've explained this one. Now we can also look at some of these things. OS dot start and start. Now there's one thing I want you to take note. So when you check the notes that I gave you here, you can see that we have this. You have UMax. So now UMax here no work on loss and start. Okay. So in place of UMax, and if maybe want to do the same as we can do on Mac and then Linux operating system, we can use the start to do the same thing. So instead of UMax, you import what start, you import start, and you'll be able to do that the same thing. So as you can see here, saying that on Windows you can set files permission using os.what change mode. So os.change mode, this one also work on Linux change mode, but then you will not bring os. Okay, and then the permission set using the octal value. For now, we know how to get the octal value, right? We did it from last time. So to get the permission, we use the octal value similarly to UNIX star permission. Okay, so here you can see that I have this. I can get my environment variable, so which will be the document, the file, and everything using the get environment variable. And then when I'm done, I can join them. So I can use the join to join everything and send it to the file. Okay, so now I can open the file. So to create a file for demonstration, we actually use with open. Now, the difference is from open and with open is that when you use just open, then at the end of the day, you have to close the file that you've opened. Okay, but if you use the wait, you don't need to worry yourself to close anything. Okay, which I think I explained to you the last time. Okay, so now here you want to write the file. So we want to write. So W is to write. So this is a test file. Okay, so now this is going to write the contents for us. Okay, and we already know the path, what we've done. So this path, we've already created the path here. That is the path that we created. And then the file that's supposed to go through it's already here. So once you place this one here, everything will be taking effect from here. So the file that we are going to create will be the TST file. And then where it will go is what documents. Okay. So when you run this code, you can run and check, and then you can also make read-only file. So if you are going to make a read-only file, that is where you have your CH mode. So that is the read-only file to get that aspect to be done. And then we can also use this to remove the file. So os.remove file path. So that is going to delete what we just created. Okay. So these are some of the things that you need to take note of. So when you write this one, you see that you just created the file and then you just deleted it as well. Okay. Okay. So we can also look at the sub processes. Now I have the processes that go. So the sub processes, you can import our sub process. And when you import your sub process, now you can use the sub process to open a notepad. So now processes are utility program that you've installed that you can. So for now, notepad is a program that has been installed, which I can open our notepad. So I can call with this to open a notepad. So what it means that maybe you want to open a document, Word document, you can use the open to open with the extension. So notepad dot this extension will open the notepad file, like the notepad as I have here. It's going to open that. Okay. And then you can also wait and close. So now wait means that it will wait. So the moment you close it, then it will print the message that notepad will close. Okay. So that is how this one works. And then we can also echo a message. Echo a message means that we can print, like still print. So on Linux and stuff, if you want to print UNIX, you say echo. So echo means what print. So hello dot process. So now this is going to print this message for us. Okay, so now I can come here and run the process. Okay, sub process dot run. So this is going to run the command. What we just did, going to run the command, and then I can print out the process. Okay, then the strip. Now when you say strip here, what actually means is that it takes both for the white space. So if I left the gap somewhere, it's going to remove both for the white space from there. Okay, if it's L strip, R strip, I hope you still remember some of them. Okay, so if you run this code, you see something that is going to open a file. So you can see that just open my notepad. You can see here the notepad has been opened because that's the sub process. So now if I go to my process here, if I check my process here, I will see that I have a notepad open. Okay, in your process, you can see that your notepad open. So now I have two notepad open. So you can see that it's showing there. Okay, so I have notepad. I just open them. So now you see that it's showing in my process. So this is what the sub process module. So once you control that, everything will come. So sometimes we run a program and all those ones may pop up since we'll be working on automation. So we need to learn all these things. So when we get to automation, we are going to apply all these concepts in this area. Okay, so sometimes your program, your computer can open a file and add a content to it and save it for you. So you don't need to go in and do that. You can just give a command that, hey, on this time you should go to this website, get me some content based on depending on what you tell your computer. So once you have it, just go there. Once you have your internet, access all the information, save it for you. So without you wasting your time to go, you can just create all your content. Say on this time, send all notification to these people, and it's going to do that. You can just create your content and say that may email this information to these people. It's going to do that. So these are how the automation goes. So we'll be looking at the Excel files and all those things, how the XML files and how to use all those utilities. But the most important thing that you need to master is what we are doing now. So when you get the understanding of all these utility programs and how you can manage resources and control your resources and navigate through directories, create a directories on your own, and then open a file content, and then be able to also modify the file content and then print it back or save it. These are some of the things that you need to do. Apart from that, what do we use computer for? We only use computer to manage what file and data. Computer utility is all about data management. So data, it could be a live data or a stored data. A live data may pick from what a devices where it will manage it for you. And then a stored data is where you pick it from a database and then you manage it. So this whole system is all about. So everything that we are going to learn, you just focus on these 2 points. Either I'm going to use a live data where you have devices connected to your system where you'll be able to pick information, manage it, and all those things. Or you are going to pull a data or resources from or install data or save data somewhere on your database where you can also retrieve and then go through and manage it or modify it in a way that you want to do. So that's where data analysis and all this thing comes to play, because data analysis, to be a data analyst, can be using a live data, or you can use what a store data from what a database to be able to do that. Okay, so if you want to specialize in other area, maybe agribusiness, or what does agribusiness, what do you do, what do you use technology in agriculture, what are we doing? Maybe either you are going to send a device like a drone to go into the farm to collect the data. That is the live data that is coming into your system. So you are supposed to put the data. Maybe you want to draw a graph or anything to do all those things. So you could set the system to be able to do that. But the moment you really understand all these processes and know how everything is done, now you can look at the architecture of the system, how you want to manipulate the system, and then how you want to store your data. For now, we've gone through all this process, and we also understand how information are being captured from the computer, maybe from your keyboard, and how does it translate to another format. And we already understand that our computer understand binary what code, which is zeros and ones. So every information that you capture is being translated to binary, and where the program, and sometimes on your keyboard is decimal value. So pick the decimal value, translate it, and sometimes some of the information come in the form of hexadecimal or octa, like the way you saw what I was explaining to you. So you realize that this one is being captured using the octa. So these are some of the things that you needed to know. But if you don't understand what octa simply means, how do you do that? How do you convert your own file to that format? Okay, so that your system will be able to use. Okay, so in a nutshell, I will just send you some of these file. We went through that. So you can take your time and go through the OS model on your own, trying to look at some of the functions, like the one I'm talking about is try to read, because there are a lot of content there that you can read. Try to read around them, which I'll put all this information on the platform so you can get them and then do more kind of understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay, but still, I have the note there. You can take your time and also read the notes. Some of the things I couldn't go through, maybe the reader for understand some of these things. So these are files that you want to read the permission. So read, write, execute. So what does it mean? So here you can see 000. So 000 is true, which means that here is what it has what read, write, execute. Then you can see 001. This means that read, write, and then false. False means that now you cannot what execute, but you only read and then write, but you cannot execute. So you could see that this, and then means 010. This means that you can what read and then you cannot write and then you can execute. So some files may not. So these are the permission levels that we give to some files. So sometimes when you execute some files, it tells you like you cannot execute this fast. Okay. So if we will go into details of all these things in our next class, and then I will explain some of these things to you and we'll go through it. But now you know what ones are. What are the values here? These are binary values and what it means. And then we know that we already know what Boolean values are, okay, which is the true or false, what is coming here. Okay, so what it means is that when it's 0 here, it means true. Okay, so the moment we have 1 here, it means false. Okay, so what is happening here? So we have binary and then the Boolean value attached to it. And it means that we are talking about read, write, execute. I hope it's clear.
Yes, please.
I'll send the file to you. Take your time, go through some of them. I think when we're able to go through some of them, I just work with just go to the OS module. I think I really want you to go there. Just go and read a lot from there. Try to see if you'll be able to understand. So now when I put the files on the platform, you should be able to get all those examples that we just discussed. You should be able to get them, and then you try your hands on them to try and figure out to get some information from your machine and stuff. Okay. Most important is the practice. Please kindly spend time and practice. Or whatever that we are going to work on, you still need, this is the crucial part. Okay, so I really want you to get this thing once and for all. So if you are not getting it, kindly let me know. We need to get this one, then we'll put it up on it. You can, if you don't understand it, it will be difficult to learn the automation. Okay, because you need this to master the automation. If you want to automate something, you need the file permission. You need to give a permission. So if you've not given a permission to a file, you cannot automate it. It won't work. To realize it won't work. So if a hacker get this a file which has maybe it can read, write, execute, and the hacker installed this one on your machine. Now this hacker can run the command on your machine and pick all your data. So you realize that I was able to get all information from my machine. In the same way a hacker can hack your system. When you put this file, it will copy all your content, and that is it. All the variables. When you pick one, then you take